Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 112 days away from its official release that will actually give us a better idea of the sense of the Skywalker saga and where things are all going, and exactly how Disney and Lucasfilm are going to change Star Wars lore as well as the entire franchise. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really interesting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this movie is of course going to feature a ton of different new characters as well as the return of Palpatine. Now, by far the group of characters I will say that I'm looking forward to are the Knights of Ren and the Dark Acolyte portrayed by Matt Smith, as well as Ian McDiarmid's portrayal as Palpatine once more. And about Palpatine, what's really intriguing about Palpatine is what J.J. Abrams had to say about this character in The Rise of Skywalker, what he had to say over at D23, and of course even also after D23 when he got a chance to go ahead and speak with MTV's Josh Horowitz. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and this is what MTV had to ask J.J. Abrams, and what J.J. Abrams had to answer in response to all of this. Now, this is what J.J. had to say. Now, first, Josh states, "Let's talk, of course, Emperor Palpatine. We see the Emperor literally looming over the new poster. Who's the big bad?" JJ states, "Well, I will say that's part of what the story is. And also, I will say that the Emperor around, he's not going to be, you know, the cuddly pal. I can't wait for you to see how that plays out, but he's on the poster for a reason." Now, that's what J.J. Abrams had to briefly say about Palpatine's return. Now, on top of all of this, we do know that J.J. Abrams also said that he's very instrumental to the Skywalker saga, and in Episode 9, of course, I believe Daisy Ridley said the same exact thing as well. The fact that he is instrumental in this movie is a big deal, and Palpatine looming in the background really is going to be a very interesting experience to see how it's all done. Now, apart from this, apart from MTV, J.J. Abrams also stated that Palpatine is actually going to be explained. How his return is going to be done is not just going to be done randomly. It's all going to be explained from start to finish of this movie, and that a big chunk of the plot has all to do with exactly how Palpatine will progressively return into the storyline for Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Now, we do know that this movie is actually said to be the darkest there is, and to me, when we think about Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith, at least in my opinion, is literally the darkest Star Wars film, between Anakin and the younglings, and of course, Anakin Skywalker being set on fire and becoming Darth Vader through that painful-looking surgery, as well as Padme's death and all those different things, Order 66. It was a very dark film, and if they're going to really find ways to make this film darker than that of Revenge of the Sith, I'm very intrigued. I really am, to see exactly how JJ is going to treat Palpatine, exactly what kind of sacrifices and losses will come our way in this movie. Still, I'm crossing my fingers that Lando, Chewie, or Leia doesn't bite the dust, let alone the droids of C-3PO and R2-D2. So, moving past all of this, Palpatine being portrayed by Ian McDiarmid once more. I know one thing that a lot of people have been pointing out, and I realize this as well. In the Rise of Skywalker teaser trailer number 2 that we got on Good Morning America and over at D23, you will notice that Palpatine sounds a lot different at the very end of the teaser, where it says, "Your journey nears its end." And what I had to say was that that is, of course, because Ian McDiarmid is older, just how James Earl Jones didn't really sound as much as Darth Vader as he did in the originals, where he sounded a little bit off and different, right? But he still sounded like Vader, but there was something different about him. That's because James Earl Jones is far older than he was when he portrayed Vader in the original trilogy, and that's basically about it, right, in Revenge of the Sith. So, since 2005, it's been a long time for James, and that also explains why Ian McDiarmid's voice is different for sure. Now, mind you, he did deliver the line of dialogue, "Roll it again" at Star Wars Celebration back in April, where he really did sound like the Emperor, but keep in mind that certain words can always still be on point for some voice actors out there, where some new pieces of dialogue could also be a bit of a challenge. So, "Your journey nears its end" is a very interesting piece of dialogue. In case you guys did not know, that is actually a piece of dialogue that originates from the audiobook of Star Wars Dark Empire from the late 1990s, when he talks to Luke Skywalker after he joined the dark side of the Force and became Palpatine's apprentice temporarily. So, with that being said, guys, I cannot wait to see how Palpatine will be utilized in this story, how J.J. Abrams is going to approach the character, and exactly how Ian is going to portray the character. I think that's the biggest thing of all, is to see exactly what kind of dialogue Ian is going to use in this movie, as well as exactly what they're going to do with Ian McDiarmid in The Rise of Skywalker. You know, I think that Ian, at the end of the day, really just is the Emperor. There's nobody else that could ever replace him, and it was a really good choice to get him back on board. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.